Hey guys and welcome. Amazing Spider-Man 2 is coming in about a month. I'd like to take that time to reflect on not only the past of the Spider-Man films, but also the Spidey games. The comics were the progenitor of many influential characters, and they have been brought to 3D life. Now it's great to be able to see these two-dimensional characters materialize in various venues and forms of media. Characters that we never thought we'd see in a film are appearing without critics or fans questioning it. Like the Lizard or Electro seemed larger than life and unlikely to appear in a good Spidey film back in the 1990s. But, giving credit where credit is due, Fox doing X-Men and Sony grabbing Spider-Man opened the doors to comic book films being taken seriously as a new, respected genre of film. In the 2000s, there was a breaking point where fans didn't know if the film would be great or not. It could be lukewarm or just utterly horrible. The Raimi Spider-Man films were not without flaws, but it was the first, and at the time, possibly last chance we might have of seeing the character on the big screen. If that movie had flopped, or critics had panned it, Sony may have deemed the character incapable of being done in theaters. We'd be dealing with a Rocketeer or Phantom or one of those movies that was just considered like a nice try, but nobody's really getting back to. By the way, I think Rocketeer is actually successful with critics. Or at least I liked it as a kid anyway. Uh, but it was praised, and fans did enjoy them. At least the first two, Spidey and Spider-Man 2. And we were filled with wonder and excitement to the web slinger on screen, stopping baddies and saving the day. Now, whether you liked the Sam Raimi, Tobey Maguire outings or not, Raimi intentionally tried to stick to more grounded characters for his films. Green Goblin is essentially just a super soldier on a glider. Doc Ock was just a guy with robot arms. And while Sandman and Venom are admittedly more powerful enemies, it was meant to be the end of a trilogy. Many fans thought that Sandman or Venom were going to be the door to the characters like Electro, but information about the supposed script suggests that Vulture or Black Cat, aka Vultress, as Sam planned to call her, were next to appear. It's obvious that no, we were going to go back to augmented humans with tech. Make with that what you will. So, how does this tie into The Amazing Spider-Man 2? Well, I certainly don't think that The Amazing Spider-Man was the best movie ever made, but it was definitely a better start for the character. Raimi had intentionally embellished Peter's woes and made things harder for him than in the comics. I think that now in the 2010s, studios have a better understanding and appreciation for superheroes in comics. They're more willing to stick to the source material and to keep risking losing fans. Mark Webb isn't following the comics directly, but the protagonist comes across as more of a hero. He's overcoming his woes, not weakly succumbing to them. It was all for the character to be a better person and a better hero. That was the heart of Peter Parker. Stan Lee made him to be us, really, the viewer. We have issues and problems, and we're all special. And if we hold on to what is good inside of us, we can rise above those problems. It's influential. It's why he's a hero. I mean, I don't intend to go all Rosemary Harris on you, but that's really the point. We're not supposed to watch a guy be miserable for 2 hours. If we wanted to do that, we could just watch the news. It's a delicate balance to tell the story of Peter Parker. We have to relate enough to see ourselves in him, but also he has to be that little bit more heroic or brave to inspire us. Some people don't think that Tobey's Spider-Man was inspiring. There's a lot of crying in those movies, and not always for good reasoning. It's just a lot of negativity. And much like with Man of Steel, where, Superman emerges from the ashes of a fallen metropolis, it's not really a hero. You didn't defend the city. You didn't save the lives you were supposed to save. You partially helped destroy it. So likewise, Spider-Man, he has to be a hero and stop the baddies. In the original Raimi films, He didn't. In the first one, Green Goblin killed himself. In the second one, Dr. Octopus killed himself. Although there was talk that Raimi intended that Octopus didn't die. Uh, in the third film, Venom, yeah, Eddie Brock killed himself pretty much. He jumped into the bomb. And then Sandman, Spider-Man literally let a guy who not only escaped from prison, killed his uncle, and robbed banks get away. That's not a hero. That's just a guy who's there. Now it seems like I'm bashing those movies and I'm kind of giving the Raimi ones a bad rep. Well, if you like those, you like those, but it is what it is. The Amazing Spider-Man 2 is another chance to start over. You know, it's a chance for the stories to be told in that inspiring, brave way. And maybe one day we'll get a direct movie adaptation of something like Kraven's Last Hunt, or a story that doesn't feature all the crying. I'd get into the cartoons as well, but it seems like Marvel doesn't know what direction they want to go in with that. Ultimate Spider-Man is a jumbled mess with no real direction. I mean, I hate to make it sound like I'm bashing that too, but it's sometimes it's like Spider-Man and Looney Tunes. Other times it's dealing with death or parental emotional abuse and neglect. There's no definite tone. I'm not saying it's a bad series, but it's made for children. Small children. Spectacular Spider-Man was taken off the air before it could even really tell its story. So that's an example of a kid's cartoon that was well done and had a driving narrative, but it was building up to take off into some grand exploit and just kind of was petered out by Disney or whoever decided to cut that off. And even Avengers, Earth's Mightiest Heroes had their own version of Spider-Man. It seemed like the last time that Marvel really was able to, tell Spidey in a consistent and serious, quote unquote, serious Spider-Man story was in 1994. So, at the end of the day, we've come full circle to what Raimi started. We're back to that hype and excitement of the original Spider-Man 2. This series has the ability to change everything. The tone of future films, future animations and cartoons that come down the line, and even the new game coming out could redefine what fans expect for the next gen. If you're a Spider-Man fan, this is a great time to really be one. I was going to say get into things, but it's just the beginning. If this film blows up and becomes really, really popular, hopefully it'll be like the Avengers, where direct to DVD animations are made for the characters. I'd like to see a Spider-Man anime. That'd be pretty cool. But I'd also like them to tell a new story. It can't always be about the Green Goblin, but it seems to always go back to that. And I know that they say the Green Goblin is Spider-Man's like arch enemy, but I feel like there's a three-way tie there between Green Goblin, Dr. Otto Octavius, and say Venom. Each of those characters had lasting impacts on the characters' lives. Green Goblin killed Gwen Stacy, sure, but Dr. Otto Octavius got inside of Peter's mind, essentially killed him. He's the only villain to have actually technically won. And Venom is Venom. He's not only a fan favorite and a consistently interesting character, but because he's in two parts, you can constantly tell new stories with him. I mean, Eddie Brock has his connection to Spider-Man and Peter, as does the suit, really, but the suit itself goes off on its own. I mean, what was his name? Alex Fortunata? Or something like that? Uh, Mac Gargan, of course, and then Flash Thompson. So, really, well, my point is, any of those three characters could be considered the arch villain. So, if they do like a new cartoon, if they decide that they're not going to continue with Ultimate, which has been on hiatus for like a year, it seems. Maybe just a couple months. Maybe I'm embellishing that, but still. Uh, if they decide that they're going to cut that off and just start over and make like a new series, well, hopefully that new series will tell a better story. Something interesting. I mean, Kingpin is a great anchor for telling these stories because, and I mean, and I truly believe that's what made the 90s cartoon work, because Kingpin is a crime boss. Norman Osborn, while being evil and blah blah blah, he's just a guy doing stuff. Kingpin is supposed to be like the master of crime. He's supposed to be in control of these things. It makes more sense that stuff is coming from the Kingpin than from Oscorp. But I'm not saying these things to bash or lament. I'm saying for the future progress of the show, I mean of a show, of the films, of everything. It's just you can kind of see where the doors open for possibility. But anyway, I feel like that's enough of a rant for today. So, thanks for watching, and like, comment, subscribe. If you disagree, awesome. I would love to hear about it. Thanks, guys. I'll see you later.